Hi, my name is Carolina and this is my thesis. This project is titled Entre, Piernas, which in Spanish roughly translates to Between Your Legs. I wanted to create a design initiative for sex positivity, for an audience I could relate to personally. Women in Latin America between the ages 15 and 25. Being closer to 25 than to 15 at this point, it's easy to think that this margin is very broad, but these are the ages when women initiate their sexual lives. May that be on the earlier side, through recognition of pleasure that comes with touch, or with sexual experiences with others. Now the problem. Speaking from personal experience growing up in Colombia and as a result of my research, I found that sexual education in Latin America is reproduction-based and very reductive. Women are not considered sexual beings. Therefore, their pleasure is never considered when it comes to the information they are receiving from their parents and teachers. We are taught to be ashamed of our bodies, of the area between our legs, because sex for women is understood solely in the confines of marriage and for the purpose of creating a family. The only sex ed I received in school had to do with how babies are created, prevention of some STDs and contraceptives, with the all-time favorite phrase, abstinence is the only option that is 100% effective. The result of this lacking sexual education for women is that what you don't tell them, they will find out on their own. They will trust either porn or their male partners to know better, highly unreliable sources, resulting in unwanted pregnancies at very young ages, sexually transmitted diseases, abuse, violence, all for not being taught how to care for and enjoy their bodies. But the thing is, sex is not only about reproduction. Sex is not only to fulfill a man's needs. Sex is not even about male-female penetration. Sex has to do with our bodies, our pleasure, our desires, our needs. It's important to normalize conversations about sex between women. It is important to allow women to feel comfortable in their skin. It is important to remove the taboo that comes with the idea of female sexuality. And it is highly important for women to have the tools to navigate their own sexuality. Because if we don't ask these questions, where will we ever find those answers? This is an effort to normalize female pleasure, masturbation, the nude body, and sex among women in Latin America. This is not Kama Sutra. This is not a pro-sex campaign. This is not a how-to manual. This project is meant to be and become a tool for women to make informed decisions regarding their bodies and their sexuality. My first thought was, I will write a book about sexual education for Latin American women. But I was being premature with my goals, because I am by no means an expert. I am no sexologist, psychologist, or doctor. I don't know more than anyone else, and there are so many others who have done it before me. So instead, without erasing my goal but prolonging the process, I set the stage for said book. I did a research project based on every resource I could get my hands on, and personal experiences from those around me regarding sexuality and the female body. I read many books, listened to podcasts, followed and screenshotted everything I saw on social media, conducted interviews with people I love and with people I have never talked to. I lived and embodied this project, talking to everyone I encountered, my family, friends, people at parties. I became the girl who talked too much about sex, which slowly but surely opened the way for so many discussions that needed to take place. About sexual education in general, about masturbating at an early age, about never having had an orgasm, or having orgasms for the first time at 21, about period sex, virginity, sex toys, quiffing, taking nudes, what we like, what we don't. I knew that in a year I wouldn't change the world, but I made the first step by informing myself, exploring mediums of creation, and encouraging those around me to at least think about how they navigate their own sexuality, which sounds like little, but in reality is a lot. Why? My purpose is to allow not only those around me, but those who will come after me to be able to speak as openly as possible about their sexual experiences. To know that Whether your choice is to have sex with many or with none, it is yours to make. I am not pushing women to have sex all the time, or to go dry masturbating all day long. Instead, I want to gather all of those resources I found and share them with others. Because talking about sex is not only about what to do and how to do it, it's about knowing what you're talking about and understanding why you're making any decision. I am doing this for Carolina at 15. Clueless about sex, ashamed of her body. I am doing this for those girls who haven't talked to their friends about sex, who masturbated for the first time in the last year, who recently discovered sex toys, who spent the beginning of their adulthood only using condoms because they didn't know about any other form of contraceptive, for those who don't know yet how to enjoy sex. This being a design process, I took images from vintage porn and primary colors tweaked for a more serious audience, designed posters with things that I learned along the way, and asked women, those close to me who had followed this process from the beginning, to do small things for themselves and for this project. I asked them to tell me about their experiences with sex and their bodies. I told them about the emancipating act of taking nudes, and asked them to contribute to this project with one of them. I also asked them to draw vulvas. And I pushed and pushed to normalize this conversation in small acts, which in the end become acts of self-recognition, self-love, and self-care. And here is the result of this year-long process. Thank you.